in my head, when we started doing this stuff back in January, we had talked about it in the fall, and for me at least, as I know that the changing landscape in this job is there's a lot more trend towards younger people. And so my thought process was today is for all y'all. Some of these guys that are out here, I'm 39 years old, so I came to my first convention in 2000, and I was a 24-year-old slap, didn't know anybody. Didn't know anything about anything, was like, do I even want to do this job? And so part of it was, okay, let's show you what I went through and what my resume started out as, and kind of just go from there. And then you guys can tell me. I don't have the answers, believe me. I took a resume class in college, so we're basing this off of probably some GA teaching me this. And my mother was an English major, so she's a little wordy, helping me when I wrote this. But some of it does make sense. You have to understand, part of the biggest thing is when you apply for a job at a university, there's two things, okay? You have to know who the person is that's going to make that. You have to know who the person reports to so that you can get your resume in front of that person. So example, at North Carolina, if my assistant were to leave tomorrow, my boss is the Associate Athletic Director, Corey Holland. He's not the one that's going to make the call. He's the one that's got to process the paperwork to go to HR, to get the list from HR, to bring back, and then give to me so that I can go, yeah, I still want Gannon, or I want it. You know what I'm saying? That's the process. It's not just calling Campo saying, hey, Campo, I got a job. I need a dude at your school. I need somebody for today. He's still got to tell that person. They still got to go. They got to go through the whole process. There have been a lot of jobs that you think you're tailored for, and if you don't do the right steps, you miss out on the opportunity. And no one ever gives you that, here's what you did wrong. They just kind of skip over and go to the next person. So part of it, again, I don't have the answers. So if you guys have questions or comments or anything that you think of, Errol, in the last 3 years, he was at App State, then he was in South Alabama, and he took a job at BYU. So he's going to help me because he's been one that has moved from different places in the last couple of years. I haven't moved since North Carolina when I got there in 2008. And I was lucky enough, I'll be honest, this is a true story about this one. As we start here, my history is I was a graduate of Eastern Illinois from 94 to 98. I went and became a GA at Northern Illinois for 2 years. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Literally graduated in December, walked into a coach's office, like, what do I do now? He's like, you need to go be a grad assistant. I'm like, is this like, you could do this as a job? He's like, yeah. Went and became a grad assistant for 2 years. I applied for a job at the University of Missouri, got the job based on the fact that I had went through a hailstorm, got food poisoning, and still made the interview that day. The guy was like, you weren't the most qualified, but he's like, you wouldn't take no for an answer. So he's like, you had to be good at something because you didn't give me a reason to go, oh, well, he couldn't show up. So I had to. Fast forward, I came to convention the first couple of years. Met James Duncan. We would go out, hang out, talk to each other. He became the director at A&M, backed into that job because he knew who I was and needed somebody. But I still had to go through the process, as you see here, of sending me a resume and all those different steps. Forward to 2008, I became friends with Luke Goldstein through CSVA and met him and whatnot. And he happened to tell me one day, I was holding my 2-month-old at the time. And he was like, hey, there's a job in North Carolina. And I said, okay. And basically, at that point, I found out about the job on Monday, flew to North Carolina on Wednesday, took the job on Thursday, had to go home and tell my wife, okay, you need to move, take care of the 2 kids, the dog, sell the house, see you in 2 months. Because it was really quick. I started on a Monday, 2 days started on a Wednesday. So, again, coming back around to it, I've moved along the food chain because of this, but at the same time, as you can see in this is way back in, wow, I haven't looked at some of this. I lived in Norman, Oklahoma, and I left, my job was eliminated at the University of Missouri, so I was out of the business for a year. I was a Schwann's ice cream man. Okay, now what? But I was damn good at that job because every day I got up, I wasn't guaranteed money, so I had to sell my tail off and sell stuff. And so that was part of the deal was while I was doing that to pay the bills, I still wanted to get back in, but I was applying for anything. As you can see, I applied for some job in Century Incorporated. I knew that I had to tailor the jobs, the resumes each week. I had a kind of an outline of what I wanted to do each one, but I had to tailor it to what that job was. You can't just give a resume and have it stop. You've got to go through it and say, what do they want for their criteria? You know, what are they looking for? Are they looking for someone in website, or are they looking for authoring or whatever? You know, again, in this one, I have vast knowledge of cable wiring, technical service for customers. What does that mean? You know how to plug in the wires and talk to it. It's how you work. It's not just customer service. A lot of times when these universities, they put your resume up, they go through the keywords. You probably heard this. They put it in a computer, there's an algorithm that looks for keywords. Well, if you're not good at writing the sentences objectively and put in those, again, like my mom, those wordy sentences, you can't just say, yeah, I carry cords, I work customer service. You have to say it long form. So, as you see, I owned a little production company in '92. Chief President. What was that? I filmed weddings. Literally, I used the camera that I bought and I just filmed weddings. But it looks awesome. I managed the payroll and finances. You know what I did? I got the check. Here too. That's all it was. I got the check. Managed it. I deposited it. Made the payroll. It was my payroll. So that was just that. That was 2004. All right, so again, fast forward. Look at that. Same resume. One of the big things that my mom and I learned early on was when I worked at Northern Illinois, I was a grad assistant. I didn't finish school because the job started in April, and they wanted me there for spring ball. So I had to make the decision to quit grad school. Now, I still had a semester to go. But as you see down there, it says I was a candidate. Did I graduate? No. But it says that I wasn't in school to do it. That's a big difference than saying you weren't in school at all. So at least shows those resume, people, okay, he was doing something. It doesn't mean that you have to have a master's degree to present it. I have this all really written out in my head, and that's what I hear. It's never good. As you can see, I was a route manager. I had to put it down because that's what I was doing currently. And then again, if you read that sentence, what were you? I was driving an ice cream truck. Blue, plain and simple. And convinced me. You see the assistant director of video operations. I gave it a nice BS title because titles are titles. I can tell you right now, my job at the University of North Carolina, I am classified as a support analyst of the state of North Carolina. But what's my title on my business card? Director of Football, Video, and Technology. I made it up. And now it's on my wall in my office because I just always have it. Okay. And I'm like, Luke, he's actually an AD, so he actually has the title. I don't have it. You do, actually. So again, you can kind of see that. The biggest thing that I did early on was I had to have all these references. I have different people. I worked for some really cool, people. Anymore, references are references. This is a great one. You can't put Netscape communicator. Are you a Netscape guy or AOL? AOL. Really? Cool. So again, I had tailored this one for Texas A&M because James had already called me and said, hey, I need you to apply for this job. So this was kind of the taking the other one and saying, all right, I just need to get as many guys on there as possible because you don't know what they're going to do back in the checklist. All right. That was this one. We fast forward to UNC. You can see now I've changed a little bit more. Trying to still do the summary of qualifications because I want to tell them that I still want to get in this business. I still want to be a head person. My education's there. It's still the same. We've eliminated the Swans man because again, I'm going from one video job to another, so I don't care about the fact that I was a Swans man if it doesn't pertain to it. And that's part of it. You got to look at your resume and say, what jobs do I need to put down that might correlate to this job? As you can see, I was an assistant video coordinator. I wasn't the assistant director of operations. At A&M, I was just football. At Missouri, I was all sports. So I was helping video operations throughout all the departments. So that's the change, and that's where you can see, again, where. And again, this was one of those that I needed to just put it together really quickly. It was a Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock. I talked to the current video guy, talked to Luke, and I had about 2 hours to put this together because I needed it by 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock Eastern. It was a whirlwind. I got lucky. Let me first to tell you, I was very lucky in getting the job and knowing people at the same time. Last summer, I was asked to apply for another job, and you noticed I eliminated the career objectives because I was already a video director at North Carolina, but I was moving from another position. It wasn't a position that I was trying to get, but it was something that was being created, and so I eliminated that. And then I just started in on the work scripts because again, at that point, I've got so many different stops that I've got to put all that stuff down. And the biggest change that I learned over the years in dealing with coaching staff is no longer putting their phone numbers down, making them call you or making them call the university to ask for the number. Because coaches don't like having their cell phones rang, asking for a reference. That's the biggest thing. You've got to, hopefully at that point, you talk to those people and say, all right, coach, hey, Coach Fedora, I'm applying for a job. They've asked me to apply for a job at XYZ. You may get a phone call from that coach. Just be aware. That's the biggest thing I'll tell you. Make sure you call the people that you're going to put on your resume before you submit the resume. Because if you don't, they're just going to get out of the blue and they're going to take it the wrong way. You don't want that time. So, really, like I said, at that point, that's kind of where I was. This is just the resume part. When I came to this conference each year, you guys have all met me. I like to think that I'm a pretty talkative person. So I would go around and I'd bug people and ask them questions and talk to them. I came up with a little postcard and put in my pocket, and I had like 4 questions that I could ask any of the other guys, what they were going to do. Like one of them one year was, how are you being more efficient in office? It was just a starter question to just walk up to John Travada or Luke Goldstein or whoever, even if it was a baseball game tonight or something, and just ask them what they think. Now, was I always going to take what each of them said? No, but put my name out there in front of them and stuff like that, because that's at this point, this job area is much like football. It's all about who you know. It's all about who you know, who can help you. And, Campbell, myself, and Luke, we all work in the same league together. And we all work together, but we're also in our league saying, okay, if Campbell needs a guy, he's going to call one of us first. And if we all don't know somebody or we haven't taken an interest in somebody that we know, and it's who do you know? Well, I know Delvecchio at Rutgers. We do it, sure. So that's part of, again, from my experience, of what you have to do to put your name out there in front of you. So I'll let Errol kind of talk about his experience, where he came from, so he can kind of go a little bit further than that too. I'll take my resume.
There was a question.
Oh, there was?
Yep, sorry. From Twitter.
Okay.
Are there any major formatting don'ts? Anything that you recommend not to do on a resume as far as formatting goes?
Good call. That is a big thing. I know this, when I look at resumes, if it's not spelled correctly, or if an address doesn't have a zip code, I know that sounds stupid, but I Google the zip code to make sure that it's the right place. It's the little things like that that will bug the tar. It says, you don't know the right zip code now, how can I know that you're going to do stuff down the road? I realize that that's the dumb thing, but those are those little things that when we work in the business, we need you to, we tell you to do something, go do it, not go do it, and then you kind of eliminate it off the path, and you say, well, I thought, no. My wife says, no, just put the dishes away. Don't put them where you think they go, put them where you actually go. Same thing with the resume. Make sure it's spelled correctly.
I would also say on the cover letter, even when it's rushed, like Chris said, better make sure it's addressed to the right person for the right job. I don't know how many applications on cover letters I got the last couple of years because the jobs we filled that had that wrong and then even goes in the, I don't even go past that.
Yeah, because a lot of times that's what happens. We get a stack of resumes, and we're looking at it. They tell us not to judge a book by a cover, but we're looking at that cover letter. You haven't used in your cover letter, hey, at the request of Lou Goldstein, I've been told I should apply for this job, or using the key name so that when Chris Luke recognizes, and if it says Craig Campagnozzi in it, you go in the good pile. But if you go in the pile that there's nobody's name in that, that's the first filter for it. Is, okay, he knows that guy, because I can call that guy and ask him. So you have to almost do your history on me, or who's making the hire. Where has that guy worked? Find out his history. If you know me, you know that I lived in Illinois. You know that I worked at Texas A&M. You know that I worked at Missouri. You've looked up my bio on a website and done your research. And maybe at some point you can correlate to Leah's got a guy at Wyoming that she worked for, Coach Christensen. I worked together with him at University of Missouri. He's not there now, but it's at least that key word that when I'm looking at the resume, oh, okay, yeah, I remember that. That goes in the good pile. It's little things like that that you want to go from regular pile to good or regional.
I'll say one thing that, well, first of all, I'm Errol Seaver, video coordinator at BYU. Those that don't know who I am, I know there's a lot of faces and names I hopefully I get to meet throughout the week. Crazy to do social media, the first thing I look at when I have student filmers that I hire, and any full-time position, I look at their Facebook account. I mean, it's very simple. Keep it clean. You're professionals. You represent the university. You represent your family. You represent yourself. You represent your school. In my case, I actually represent the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. No, I'm not a member of the Mormon Church, but I represent them because that's where I work. Believe me, if something shows up on my Facebook this week that the church doesn't like, I'm fired. It's that simple. Even if you have a job, you can lose it because of something that's on your social media. So be very careful with that. That's something that I always look at. The very first thing when I get against a student filmer or any position, I'm going there to see who they are and what they stand for. You can learn a lot in about 30 seconds. So that's a big resource for me. Then also, I kind of go with the resume. See what looks like the paragraph style. Personally, I hate to read. That's why I was a video maker in college. Hate reading. No reading comprehension. You hand me a book, never gonna read it. Luckily, I got through school. And but so mine is really bullet pointed. I go through work experience and it's just bullet points. EXO, DB Sport, whatever, kind of how many years I have in there too. So 7 years, nonlinear video experience with football software, sports-specific software, things like that. I would have brought my resume. Sorry, Luke kind of threw me on the spot today, but hey, it's all good. That's how we roll, right? Exactly. So it's all going to be kind of in my head, and I'll ramble here quite a bit. So stop me at any point if you have any questions. So I'm a really bullet point person. Like I like to read things really quickly and I like to move through them fast, so I can analyze them a lot faster. That's how I work. So I really covered that, and then even under each school and the years I was there, I just list what we did, but it's bullet point just really quickly. Things kind of carry over from each school. I mean, our responsibilities are pretty much the same in both schools. A lot carry over. You don't need to list them under. You try to change up the wording just a little bit so you don't see the same thing over and over and over again. But like Steve was saying, tailor your resume to what job you're applying for. When I came out of grad school, did not find a job for 2 months. I was married. We were living in a 330 square foot student housing apartment. I was making a whopping $400 a month as a GA. Not good. For 2 months, couldn't find a job. Had a master's degree, couldn't find a job. I sent out 122 resumes before I landed at the Big 12 office. A lot of sleepless nights. It sucks. You're not making money if you want to. You really want to do this. I've been doing this since I was 10 years old, playing high school football games. So I've been around it for quite a while. I'm not nearly at the level as these guys that have been doing it for quite a while. As long as I have my entire life, they've been at the upper echelon of college football. But still, I knew what I wanted to do, and I did what I had to do. So it's been a fun road. Not been easy. Never will be. But that's kind of how it goes. If you want something, you're going to have to apply. You're going to have to work your butt off to get where you are. Did I want to apply for basically almost bagging groceries? I mean, I was applying for Dick's Sporting Goods. I was applying at the post office. I was applying anywhere just to have a job. I wanted to do this, and unfortunately, it happened. I mean, I wasn't getting callbacks from Dick's Sporting Goods. Threw a resume at Big 12, said, yep, I'll never hear anything from that. 8 hours later, my phone rang. 24 hours later, I was on a plane. 48 hours later, I accepted it. 2 weeks later, it happens fast. Be ready. My biggest advice as far as this industry, you better be willing to move. You better be willing to move fast, because it's just like when a coach comes to you. By the time he tells you he wants the video or whatever you're doing for him, he actually already wanted it done by the time he tells you. So you better be ready. It's going to happen fast. I'm very, very fortunate to be where I am. Man, I've moved a lot. I was a student filmer at a Division II school in North Carolina for 4 years. While I went to community college, because I wasn't really ready to go off to college, I was a flunked out. And then from there, I went to App State. Oddly enough, I didn't film for Jake. I didn't do any video work while I was at App State. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I wish I would have. I really regret that. I graduated from there, went to Jacksonville State in Alabama, and there's been quite a few guys that are here this year that all came through Jacksonville State. It's kind of a little fun with. And then from there, Big 12, to South Alabama, now TBYU. And I can honestly say, my getting the job at South Alabama is because of the connections I made here. A recommendation from another video coordinator, and South Alabama was looking for a video coordinator. And one of the coaches there had been a GA at another school and said, hey, who do you recommend? It's like, hey, he's close to you, he's available, I know he's looking. Maybe give him a call, see if he's interested. And that's how I got there. Stayed there 3 years. My wife was able to get her master's degree while we were there, and it all really worked out. Same thing last year. Right around Christmas, my phone rang, and it was from BYU. It was Chad. I know you remember that. Called and said, hey, would you come interview? Our position lead. I thought you were joking. It was, when he called and said, hey, our job's open, you want to come? I said, hey, how's Lane doing? I knew the big player. He was like, no, Lane left. Like, yeah, whatever. How's it going? He was like, no, seriously, I want you to come interview. Why am I the right fit? I'm not LDS. I've never really been west of the Mississippi a whole lot, except for flying out Friday and flying home on Saturday. It's been a really good fit. It's been perfect for me in my life. Work was fun, we have a good time working together, but it worked out, and it's because of connections I made here. I was really young I joined CSVA in 2008 when I was at Jacksonville State. And, yeah, you know, I was so afraid to go to conference because I didn't know anyone. That's why I didn't go. I didn't go because I was like, no one's going to know who I am, where I'm from. Wasn't matter. I'm just going to be and embarrass myself the whole time. And the biggest thing was actually getting out there and meeting people. Just small things, introducing yourself, getting to work with people. When you're at a small school, you play those money games. You know, getting to know their video coordinator while you're there. That's the way when you're at these smaller schools, you get to know the bigger kids. You know, I look up to a lot of people in this room. You know, see Luke, Campo. I mean, these guys have taken the time to talk to me. And now it's fun. You know, Luke and Virginia came out to BYU this year. It was really cool to have them out and you know, kind of work side by side and see how some of the best do it. Take notes while you're there. Take mental notes while they're there. Pick their brains. These guys have done it. They've done a great job. They're incredible. They're a great resource team. The biggest thing, don't be afraid to walk up to them. We're all here as resources. Don't get afraid to walk up and talk to everyone. That's my biggest advice. Do not be afraid to approach people. We're all approachable. And we'll all answer any question and help you anybody can. You know, just please say, just get out of that comfort zone. Don't be afraid. I'll take any questions you have. Well, I don't have my resume or I'll kind of go over it, but I do like that you have secret in your learning from people that say that. I love you for that. Awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
So we're gonna back up what you were saying about Facebook and keeping it clean. Now, obviously, we don't want things like alcohol, drug references, stuff like that. But what are some things that you may not think about that you want to try and keep off your Facebook?
Definitely profanity. You know, it's one of those quick things. I mean, we all work in football. You hear it. We've probably all been cussed out by coach at some point or another. But you don't want to, like, my thing, you know, quick thing, you know, like, with the riots that are going on in Baltimore and things that are going on there, you kind of want to stay away from those things. Things that are hot topics in the media, you really want to stay away from them. Like, you might really feel strongly one way or the other, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But professionally, for yourself and for your university, you just need to step back and say, look,
you live in America, you have the right to have the views that you have. But I, as the employer, have the right to not choose you based on them. So if you get on your Facebook page and rant about how you hate Obama, or you hate Republicans, or you hate those polarizing issues that polarize the country, and I see that on yours, I may be Republican, but I'm like, that's your thing. It's great, but I don't know that is that going to affect your job in my office, or you're more worried about whether or not a hot topic issue is a thing, and I just need you to make a damn video. I don't need you to worry about who's going to win the election in November of 2016 this fall, because we're trying to win a damn game on Saturday. Make sense? Don't care. Don't care. You want to go home and rant to your roommate or call your mom or whatever? I don't care. But that right there is one of those things that it may not be a big issue to me, but it might be something to somebody else. Another thing that I always thought, you'll see it this week, just so y'all know. I don't wear a logo when I have an alcoholic beverage in my hand. I had a coach, Joe Nevin, I was Northern Illinois, he said, never wear a logo when you have alcohol in your hand. Because just like each picture taken, you're targeted. Doesn't matter if you're at whatever school, you know, if you're at Pittsburgh State, but I don't know that logo, the picture gets taken, you got a logo on it, you're targeted. You know, it's stuff that the coaches tell the players, but it goes back to y'all too. You know, you're here to have a good time. Yeah, we're gonna have drinks, we're gonna have, you know, food, all those things. But if you drunk eating toothpaste at 3 o'clock in the morning, growing up, I see that stuff or I hear about it. You know, and it filters down for me. If I hear about it, and we just happen to say Chad and I are in the other room talking about it, we talk amongst each other. So that then down the road, if Chad gets a call from Campo, and Campo is a guy. And he just happens to talk to Chad about said guy, and he's like, oh yeah, that guy's drunk last year at CSVA. I remember that guy. Is it bad? No, but it's still, do you want to talk about what you drank at CSVA? Or, I remember that kid, he's pretty smart, he had some pretty cool, some different questions. It's all those little things that add up, just gives you that edge.
What's the age that you want? Because you all in here don't want a job. You don't want to move on. Hell, I want to move on. I'm 39 years old. I'm looking at the next place where I want to go. Always looking. I'm never just going to settle in. You always want to go to that next place and make more money and maybe get a better deal or whatever. We're all just a little bit, we're just all making a little bit more, but we're still a squirrel, it's a squirrel trying to get the nut, you know? So, anybody else? Questions?
Staying with social media, if you're applying for a job, let's say your Facebook page is private, but you don't really have anything to hide or not, you got nothing that would look bad, would you recommend changing it open so your job applicant or whoever you're applying to can see it?
I mean, that's probably, if you're confident that there's nothing there, sure.
Why not? Or send, where you send the link. You know, again, it's openness. If you're not a convict, you're not a sexual molester, you're not all those things, you want that person who doesn't know you. Okay, yeah, these are things. I'm a good person. You want to present to me as much as information as possible. That you've done your homework, that you are a good person, you've done all these things. Because that's what we look at as employers and go, okay, you have a little checklist of, you know, he's good here, he's good here, he's good here. And we're going to sit and rank them and say, well, this guy's got these 4 qualities, but he doesn't have the fifth one. Does the fifth one 30%? Yeah, well, then we have another one that does that job really well, but I got to deal with his political stress or whatever. Can I deal with it? I don't know. Can I deal with that range? All right, and that's what happens. Check.
Well, honestly, when we were going through the process of making the hire, when we finally hired Carol, I was in the process with our ops guy. I mean, it was his final decision, coach's final decision, but I'm not a Facebook guy. You guys know that. I don't know if I ever will be. I know you're working on me. However, we did go to Facebook for all the applicants. We looked at things, and some guys that we thought were really good applicants, we really got surprised when we started looking at Facebook. Because there was a lot of crap there. We're going, really? You really did that? You're really proud of this, and you're really showing this to the public? So, I mean, that was really a bigger factor than I thought it would be with some of the applicants that we had. So, all I'm saying is, you know, use caution when you do that. You guys know that, but still, you know what? If you want the world to see it and everybody else in the world to see it, put it there. But once you put it there, it's pretty hard to not keep it there. Okay? So just use caution. Just use caution. I mean, that's great about the logo. Yeah, that's a big time deal.
That's one of those things that just we're always, you know, I'm just 22 years old, this kind of stuff. But, okay. And you laugh this week, we were packing on Friday night, and I said, oh, that's right, yeah, you're not wearing that level. Yeah. This was.
So kind of going back to what you were asking, for me, I don't really think about maybe kind of put a thought in my head. Maybe I need to be worried if their account's private. Where are they trying to hide? I don't know.
I agree with that. I had a girl who understood, you know, Facebook. I was like, go on. I do not. I just never read it. Like, check. It's like not having a driver's license. You know, you were. Parker works would be like, he's like, yeah. What's the transportation of North Carolina? Oh, driver. What? You never studied for the test and you get the driver's license? Graduate high school? Those are things like that. You're just like, huh, what happened? I need to know that story. I gotta go dig deep. And again, when you got 2 files, you're like,
In the past, I've never really worried about it. Like if someone doesn't have an account, I've never really thought about it. But if I have access to it, I'm going through it. You know, a lot of times I'll scroll as far down as I can from the beginning. Because normally, when you look at the surface, everyone's kind of been good in the last month when you're looking for jobs. You want to get back like a year or two if you can. So you can really kind of see people grow a lot and change a lot. your views change, the way you communicate with people change. And something you might have been proud of 2 years ago, and now you regret. We all make the same.
Me too. I'm a grandma. Can't stand the word you.
So no short.
That's again, those things like Luke was saying, some of those things, grammar's not done right. You're like, you didn't pay attention to detail. In this job, you have to pay attention to detail. If you're not going to pay attention to the period in a sentence in your resume, you're in the bad. You might have the greatest resume in the world, but if you don't want to go through it and look at it, double check, triple check it, or triple check it, you're bad. I'll move on to that.
Doing your resume is a lot like when you're like you already did at the beginning. Right? Put the right side of the ball in the right spot. Like, it's not that hard. Look for periods. You're double checking, triple checking before it goes out to your coaches. Make sure it's right. Because guess who they're going to come to when it's wrong? You. And if they have to keep coming to you when it's wrong, guess what? They're going to go to someone else. But you're not there. The same with your resume. You're not going to get hired. I mean, they're going to attention to detail. You can tell the effort people put into their resumes and CVs or cover letters. You can tell the effort that goes into that. You can tell a lot more about who they actually are and how they're going to work just by the effort and the way they take care of paperwork. Paperwork is a form of communication. You can't communicate.
It sounds crazy, but if you do this, but I don't see times you want to calibrate aerial. Aerial's great when you was in college because you have to get more words.
Yeah.
Less words on paper.
Aerial narrow.
I don't want more words on paper. We'll see what we got.
Yeah, and
font sizes, all those different things. It sounds dumb, but you're sitting there looking at a resume. You're not just reading through it.
definitely.
Examining.
Yeah, definitely. Put my fair share of resumes together. Chris has probably looked at a lot more than I've even put together. But at the same time, we were talking about keywords earlier. They put them through these algorithms. They're looking for keywords. When you're scanning down through a job listing and they're looking for very particular words, and maybe you're like, well, I kind of know how to do that, but how do I word it? Use those words. That's exactly what they're telling you, what they want you to say. They're telling you exactly what they want. Put those exact words in there. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for someone to take care of A, B, C, D. Don't put in D, E, F, G. Put it in there. Not necessarily in the exact same order, but make sure you get it in there. They can look, okay, this equals this equals this. They can check it off and they go down the list. If you're putting totally random stuff in there, and then they have to think about it. It's like, well, does this pertain to this? Well, let me think. You're not going to take time to think. You're going in the no pile real quick. That's one piece of advice for me.
One of the biggest ones too.
Mine was always a joke. I don't know excess. I've worked for these 14 out 7 years, so I haven't done thunder. But I guarantee you I can put down on my resume working knowledge of excess thunder. Because if you put me in front of the computer, I could finagle my way through it. But again, that resume, when it goes through that algorithm, it's an Exos school. I can put Exos thunder down, and it's going to go through to the next. It's going to pass through because that's one of those key words that, like you're saying, when you put on the job, you want to sport 41, Exos thunder. Those are things that you can put in.
Doesn't matter. We can all make them all around. That's what we're there for. Like Kristen told me, when I was talking to him actually about BYU, and said, "Do you want a job or do you want the software system?" So I've been Exos. I've been even game plan before that. You guys know what that is.
Yes.
No, not that one. Not that one. Old school game. But he said, "Do you want the job or do you want the software? Take your pick." So well, if you want to move up, you can't just stay an Exos person. You can't just stay a sport person. Do I have favorites of each? Yeah, absolutely. You're always going to have if you like a unit and 90, you always kind of have your favorite that you like a little bit better. But that's one thing that really, really stuck with me at CSVA study was you're not going there for what software system you have. You're going there to be the video coordinator for that university. You'll make it work, basically. Exactly. And I've called, when I first got there, I called CSVA probably about every day for the first 2 weeks. Like, hey, man, I don't know what I'm doing with these sports. Can you help me out? Whether it be, hey, I've got 5 minutes, or hey, I'm going to the staff meeting, I'll call you back. It's always there. And that's exactly. So And that's one way to learn for you all too. You use the software systems. That's a way to reach out to schools. You know, guys at bigger schools that have been learning that system for a while. Call them if you have a question. You don't always just call it. So it's a way for you to get to know that video coordinator as well. It's a way for you to kind of learn, and then also they're seeing like, hey, he's actually engaged. He's not afraid to communicate with other people. He knows how to communicate, and at the same time, he's trying to get better. I think that's beneficial as well.
Research on the person. Find out what people really do. In that resume or in their bio on the website, if I say
Another question about the resume, I'm just curious about the fine line between exaggeration and the truth. On the example that you gave us, you put manage payrolls for your wedding service. All you did was cast a check. So I'm wondering if they ask you about that, you know, what type of trouble do you get into for, I think, like I said, exaggerating on your resume like that?
definitely something that, again, when I wrote that, it's wording. But at the end of the day, it's a lot like explaining in a sentence how you get from here to your hotel. Science of stood up, walked through the door, you got the other one, this is what again, wording. It sounds stupid, and I hate my mother's word. She said the text, and it's really 5x. But it makes sense, because again, they're looking for those key words. When you see that job posting, that thing has been, they don't just go out and look for a job post. They've sat there and they've fine-tuned that posting so that when you, Ryan, when you look at that posting and it says Thunder, and it says Adobe Photoshop, and it says Final Cut Pro, those are the things that they have been told, and you have to have that in that job description. Because those are the things that, again, just like if it says Exos Thunder, that's, to me, if the word says, all right, I need to have Exos Thunder somehow in it. Do I know Exos Thunder? No. Have I been to this convention enough and gone to their booth and seen it and have working knowledge of it? Yes.
That's good too. So like, when you know multiple, or maybe you don't necessarily know the other, exos, maybe you don't know DB Sport, you can put in there, I know sport-specific, non-linear software. I.e. exos, DB Sport, or whatever. Just so, obviously you know how to work football software. Maybe you, and the way I listen, I've used 5 different systems in the last 6 years. I've used a lot. It sucks, but you know what, you learn and it works. So what I do is I always list the one that I'm most comfortable with at the time. So like right now I'm more comfortable with DB Sports with what I used last year. Before that it was Exos. Before that was Game Plan. So on my resume there in that order. Non-linear, sport-specific software, bam, 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 down the list to the oldest one that I've used. And that's how I put them in there. So it kind of covers all of it. It's just more giving examples of what that software company is. And say, I know exactly how to use this and maybe I don't. That's a way to get that one in that maybe they're looking for that you don't necessarily exactly. And while you're here, go check it out. That's the biggest thing. If you know DB Sport or Exos, this is a great opportunity to learn it. Don't waste it. Go see the other. It can teach you a lot even in just a couple of days and see it happen.
One thing that I see sometimes and other times I don't is that when you go play a road game, somebody or they come to your place, don't talk to those guys. Don't go eat the food and go sit by yourself or sit with your own guys. Get to know the people that you're going to play because that's huge. I can't tell you how many times I've shot and I still shoot. I'm one of the probably I don't know Errol shot, right? You shot? No, I don't shoot. Campbell shoots. I shoot. I love it. That's my thing. I mean, I really like to shoot. But anyway, I even shoot practice. I don't know why, but to be able to talk, to have a conversation with somebody up there and just over the 3 hours and get to know people, even if it's somebody in the end zone. Sometimes it's a full-time assistant that's in the end zone, not a student assistant. But that's huge. I mean, I'll tell you, I got my first head job, I was an assistant in the NFL. And the reason I got, well, I guess that's a lie, but the reason I got the job that I've been at for 13 years is because of a relationship I built with somebody in the end zone, shooting games in the NFL. A guy called and said, hey, we need somebody, and next thing I know, I'm in Virginia. But it's really key to learn to meet people that way. Don't just, I mean, this is a great opportunity, honestly, like you guys have said, and everybody knows. But those are the opportunities to sit down with somebody and talk to them during that time. And I know it's hard, people get emotional over the game, but if you make small talk, you can do that, you can get to know people. And that's really a key to this role, as these guys have said. It's all who you know. It's never, unfortunately, it's never really about a resume. It's always going to be about who you know. I'll be honest with you, the job that I've had, the 4 different jobs that I've had, or 3 different jobs, whatever it is, I've never had a resume until I've already been hired, and they said, hey, we need a resume too. So it kind of works different ways, but it's all about the connection. It's all about the coaches. It's all about the GAs. You never know. So just meet people and go out of your way and do that. That's really what I would tell you.
Send an email if we go to plan at school. Don't tell me that you don't know how to find my email, because every university has a reference on their. So you don't know the person's email, so you're gonna see a you, fine. I'm gonna get an email too. Someone else on that will pick up. Oh, please, Campo, with us, Luke, and all that, we've been doing it for a long time, Chad. Just call on the phone, that we go and say, all right, what day are you coming in, when are you coming in, what do you need from me?
Yes.
You don't need anything, cool, I'll come pick you up at the other end, or what time are you gonna get there, little things like that. And then we remember the next time through, or again, it goes back to looking to hire somebody, they've been trained by Campo, all right, well then I know based on that we play every year, they're gonna do these things.
Yeah. One thing I'd say, just to add to the mix, one thing I'd say just to add to the mix is, no matter what job you're doing, no matter where you are, if you're a student assistant, a GA, if you're a manager, if you are selling ice cream, if you're working at a convenience store, do a great job. Or don't do that job, leave. I've got a guy working in my office right now who worked at a convenience store as a student. And I went by that convenience store. And I talked to the manager, and the guy said, that's my best guy. He comes in on time every day, he does a great job, does whatever I ask him to do. And one night he asked me, why do you always come by here and buy all this water and sunflower seeds and suntan lotion? And I told him I do video at Florida State, and I buy it for my students. He said, oh, I'd like to do that. Well, maybe reach out to me. I gave him my card. He applied. He works for me now. I was an equipment guy in college. I was an equipment guy in the NFL. And when that ended, the coach, who is now the head coach of Georgia, Mark Rick, remembered me as a student manager at Florida State and said, hey, we need someone to come work in video. You did a great job. That's how I got into video. My degree is in English education. I should be teaching high school somewhere. So whatever you're doing, do a great job. So find something else to do. Because how you work represents you more than, I mean, a lot of this, well, if I made more money, I'd work harder. No, you wouldn't. You either work hard or you don't. You're conscientious or you want. And that's why I want to talk to you. The other thing I'd say is whoever you list as a reference, I'm talking to that person. And I've had people say, oh yeah, I did this, and I'll call them. Nope, never worked there. Established people who've been video coordinators. He never did that. She wasn't here. I mean, you're in the dead zone, being at that point. So you want to exaggerate, or not even exaggerate, but bend the truth to fit the job. But you also want to make sure at the end of the day you can say, yeah, I took the payments. I made sure everyone on that payroll got paid. Because if you didn't, I don't want you working for me. It's just a couple of tips.
The other thing is we're going to call people outside of your references, because we've all been around and we know people. And I hired Kyle, who's a great employee to me, and he lives in 3 references, and I called somebody that I knew that he worked for. And said, he told me he was great. He was. And that's the thing, we're going to reach out to the circle. Depending on who you're calling, you know each other.
that was-
Not every job's for every person too. You might get a job from me, you might hate it. If you work your 6 months and do a great job, I'll give you a good reference. Because you did your job.
yeah, really all you're asking is
You know? I mean, we don't have to be best buddies. You come in and I tell you this is a job, you come in and that's a job, and doesn't really make a cup of tea. Okay, no hard feelings.
I definitely enjoyed having Luke come out. Luke, we talked for about an hour before our kickoff. We had a pregame meal together in the press box. It was really a time to get down and get picked in. I mean, here's a guy that's been at Virginia for a while. He's been in the NFL. He's done great things. He's one of the best. A lot of respect for all the guys that have been here. Chad, Campo, all these guys. It was a great time, a great opportunity to sit down as a professional and a counterpart and pick his brain. I'm still young. I mean, I'm not calling you old. Please don't take it out. You do have a few more grades. But at the same time, it was a great time while we were being professional and working together at the game for us to kind of just get to know each other a little bit. And at the same time, see how they operate firsthand. And when they got there, little things of when a team comes to your place, help out when you can, run cards. We met them at their buses with a golf cart, took the guy out to the end zone, get it to hike. Just some little things you can do to set yourself apart and to show hospitality. And people do remember. I mean, I remember that when we go over the games when teams are extremely helpful. Chad, they had something.
Well, just circle back to Campbell. I mean, it comes back to the Arrow's process of hiring. We had individuals we really liked. I mean, we basically closed the applicant process. I mean, we had a guy. And like Luke said, I mean, I went beyond the ops guy said, something's just not right here. And so I went beyond his recommendations. I found a huge hole in his application and his resume. I mean, it was a huge hole. And all of a sudden I thought, yeah, I'm going to make a phone call here because not the brightest tool in the shed, the sharpest tool in the shed. And so I needed some help. And so I reached out to a place where I thought this individual had been, and sure enough, he'd been there. And there was nothing about it in his application. And when he left, it wasn't on good terms. And then all of a sudden I'm going, is this really our guy? And once I went and sat with our ops guy again, yeah, it would have been pretty hard to give that individual a job. He's a good guy, he came in, he interviewed really well, but there were some holes. So make sure there's no holes. Or if you're gonna apply, make dang sure on that application you list as to reasons why you're not a previous job. Hey, you know what? I was released. And just, you need to be really upfront and honest. And I felt like in that situation, the guy wasn't upfront and honest. There was a lapse in timeline in his life as to where he'd been. And I'm going, what happened in this lapse? And then when I did some further research outside the box a little bit, I found the lapse. And so, yeah, it's just really, really important to be upfront and honest. Make sure everything's the way it ought to be.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, especially for young guys, if you're close to another school, you're close to a Division I school, I say it doesn't hurt to make the trip to whatever, 2 hours down the road. You leave your house at 8 o'clock, you get there at 10, you do 2 hours of work. Chris Luke takes you out for barbecue, and you go back for another 3-4 hours.
I do small on bug more early than all the time, but keep that as we do. And bug necessity didn't take no for anything. Just like here, I may be busy. I get a point to ask you something, and I will remember to say, okay, 8 o'clock right now, let's talk later, or give them a card, send me a question, whatever. I try to be as open as possible. I know I'm looking down, I'm checking emails, and doing all kinds of stuff, but it's keep coming to me, just keep coming to me because you know what to do. I'm not used to it. But communication for me is key. You got to be good.
And the second part, almost to a fault, is if I know that somebody's coming in that's using the same system as I'm using, and I've got this unbelievable trick that I think is the coolest thing since sliced bread, the first thing I do as soon as they get their computer set up is like, hey, I got to show you this thing that Jevin showed me 2 weeks ago. And instantly I'm like this. They're like, oh, I knew about that. Or, oh my gosh, you've changed my world.
Yeah. like you were saying, having guys come out. That was one thing I did when I was in Jacksonville State. It wasn't during the season, but we were 2 hours from Tuscaloosa. I went down, and fourth inning was great to sit me down and show me kind of how they did things. And I was really young, didn't completely know what I was doing then, still probably don't really know what I was doing. You know, we all tried, right? But he took the time. He showed me how they could operate, showed me their equipment, showed me how they, I mean, just, he was great. He took a couple hours out of his day, said, hey, come on down. Actually wrote down with our equipment manager. He was meeting up with their equipment manager to go over some things. So I said, hey, if you mind if I ride along, I'll Troy. And Troy said, yeah, sure, come on. And I will never forget that. I learned more in that day than I've learned in probably through the rest of my career. I learned so much and was so thankful for that. And like you were saying, coming out to games, please forgive me, I don't remember your name, but when we were at Cal, our guy here from UC Davis was sitting in the press box with us while we were filming the game, talking with both of us. Hey, what are you doing? How are you doing this? He was right there the entire time. He had no reason to have to do that. That was above and beyond what he ever had to do, job responsibilities. They don't tell him he has to go to Cal games to pick brains and understudy from other guys, but he took the initiative. And I remember that. He came up and sat with us, and with us pre-game. He was there the entire day, seeing how we were doing things. Like, well, why are you doing it this way? Would it be more beneficial to do that? He was sitting out there. He had an idea what he wanted to do, and he's here. And hats off to him for doing that. I think that's a great point to brought up. Go pick these guys. I mean, if they're close, go. You're wasting an opportunity if you're not doing it.
Anything else? Wrap this one up, take a break, come back to financial planning part. Anyone? All right, well, you guys take a quick break. We'll be back in about 15 minutes.